Morning. Today I'm going to talk to you about a case that actually occurred in 1994. December 30th, 1994, the victim, Joseph Allen Watson, a black male, 22, was stabbed to death in the 100 block of Century Street. A suspect, David Eugene Carpenter, a white male, 29, was identified through investigation and arrested on June 7th of 95. He was charged with murder. As the case was nearing trial, the charges were dropped on January 30th, 1996, due to no physical evidence as well as witness testimony being inconsistent. David Carpenter was released and over the next 17 years was arrested over 25 times for offenses such as drug sales, theft, driving offenses, worthless checks, failure to appear, possession of drugs, resisting police and attempting to flee, battery, and ag battery. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office in 2011, our narcotics unit, made 4 separate hand-to-hand buys of oxycodone from David Carpenter in a narcotics operation. Carpenter was arrested for armed possession of trafficking illegal drugs on August 8th of 2011. While incarcerated at the pretrial detention center, information was received that Carpenter was talking about committing a murder in 1994. Detective Gupton was assigned the case and through investigative efforts was able to obtain probable cause to make an arrest for murder. Information obtained would only be known from the actual killer. Carpenter was arrested yesterday, which was January 24th, charged with murder and armed robbery. Any questions?
People who came forward, these are, sounds like jailhouse snitches, people that were with him inside?
Some of them, yes.
Some of them, not all of them? Some.
Well, I don't want to release too much information until the investigation is still state attorneys preparing their case.
But this was casual conversation that was ultimately recorded so that you have it on tape?
Again, I don't want to get into too much how it was obtained until state attorney does their investigation.
Any other questions?
When you can wrap up something, well, I know you haven't wrapped it up because it's not a closed case yet, but when you make an arrest after this long a time, 17, 18 years, as an investigator, well, that's got to be a little satisfying.
Oh, great feeling, great feeling. 17 years ago, this victim was murdered. For 17 years it was unsolved, but he was always a person of interest in the case. So it's like and you can see over his 17 years he committed numerous crimes, so his day finally came.
And this happens a lot, or it happens sometimes, I guess. These things kind of just fall in your lap when you have people come forward and say, hey, we heard this, that you might want to look into this.
Sometimes that does happen, yeah. That's why information, we'll always take information coming from the outside. And you never know when it's going to help solve a case that was old.
The charges have been previously dropped in the past for this arrest. Yes,
and at that time it was there was no physical evidence at that time. There was no the witness testimony was kind of inconsistent, so that's where the charges were dropped back down.
Is there a possibility for a double jeopardy case to come in since
No.
he?
No.
Any other questions? All right, thanks, Lieutenant.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.